Welcome back. So in this video, not everyone's going to agree with me on this one, but it is what it is. We're going to be discussing how on an online demonstration or a demonstration, to an audience, to a centre, to a church, to a theatre or an auditorium, how communication just simply cannot fail. And that's what we're going to be discussing in this video. Now, it's completely dependent on your style, the way that you are going to, how this video plays out for you. So if you don't like it, just switch off and just, be done with it, go about your day. But for the people that work in a particular way, and the way that I'm going to be discussing is building up the communication, then offering it out. And even if you do the information first, then go direct and you're slightly wrong, this same mechanic still works. Now, what happens is we almost get like a system in place. We get enough information to go out with. So I'm not actually going to work, but let's give an example here. So I have a lady, and I know immediately she's between 60 and 70 years old. Just immediately, I know it's a mum. And I know that she has a condition where her body is starting to shut down. And she absolutely loved socialising. Bingo is the one that seems to scream out the most. So there is a weekly thing where she meets up with friends and they have a very social event. So there's four big things there that we can discuss, and who understands this. Now, what happens is as that goes out, maybe I need to speak to someone on the right of the screen or right of the hall. Maybe there's 20 people on my screen, maybe there's 20 people in the hall, and I'm drawn to the right-hand side. And I know that I should be over there, but something I've said here doesn't make sense. So the person on that side of the room has not put their hand up to say, do you know what, I think that's my mum. Now, what will happen is on the left side of the room, there'll be someone there that's like, well, my mum went weekly to bingo. She had a condition that shut down her body slowly, an organ failure and whatever. And she is my mum. However, she wasn't 60 to 70. She was 85 years old. And so what's happened there is through the four statements there, three of them fit. This one is wrong. And because this one is wrong, the lady on the left or the man on the left or the right of the room, I can't remember what I said now, didn't take it because of the age, then that mum that's on the other side of the room is ready to jump in to say, do you know what, those three things fit me perfectly, but they won't accept the age, so try that. And so the spirit world literally just, they're like that, and then they just swap over. And that will happen every time, every single time. So what I try to do, now it's very, very simple. You look at all the critiques of that style of mediumship and they'll say, "Coy, it's so generic what they go out with." And I've been to like the very famous college up the road where there's been a very famous medium that travels from the UK to the US on a very regular basis. And I've literally sat there and watched her go, I have a mum, she has a heart attack, and she's over 70. Where am I? And I'm sitting there like, what? Who can't take that? I mean, most of the people in this room, if their mum's in the spirit world, that's going to fit them. And one hand went up. And then that communication took place. So what I try to do is I try to dial it in as much as I can, but without blowing it, without completely destroying the communication. And so the one thing that went wrong in my example was the age. So that immediately that could come in and the client would say, I understand it, but she was 85. You're 15 years out. Then okay, then maybe I got the age wrong. I take the hit in that example, but let me work with it. And as that communication has swapped over to the new mum, then I'll say, but you will understand that with mum that her partner passed when she was in her early 50s. Yes. And because of that, that's where this big social scene comes in, because she never remarried, and her friends were the same. These three other friends that she went to bingo every Wednesday with all have a very similar story. Yes, and now the communication's up and running. So the spirit world would take the opportunity to say, look, that one on the right hand side of the room is not going to put their hand up. This isn't going to work. Let's take this opportunity, we'll swap this out and get the other mum in. So in effect, it's like they're on standby. Now, you have to appreciate that that can't work on a one-to-one level, because it's mum is mum in the one scenario. But in a demonstration aspect, the spirit world, I believe, are not going to miss the opportunity to let it fail and bring someone else forward that can take 4 out of the 5 statements that were given and get their communication done. So I wanted to do this video outside so I could simulate different versions of me. The weather is terrible here in the UK at the moment, and I'm just literally getting over a cold, so I don't need to be outside needlessly getting wet and cold and shivery and just prolonging my cold a little bit more. I can still hear it, so I'm sure you can, for those of you that are regular on the channel. But that's pretty much it. I will do a more elaborate video later on the process, but the viewer asked me, can you explain that again for me? So I've explained it again. Hopefully you understand it in that way. If you like the video, like it. Comment again. You know, the comments are there for the people that want the channel and want to watch the video and take something from the video. If you can't take anything from it or you disagree with it, just go about your day. And don't let me bother you, and you won't be bothering me, and everyone's just happy. Subscribe if you aren't already. Click that notification bell, and I'll see you all in the next video.